Hey, welcome back. My name is Laura Kelley, and today I'm here with Oak Mountain's head football coach, McComb. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm good. Have you and your family fully adjusted to the move yet from California?
Yeah, it happened quite quickly, actually. We were in a rental for the first 4 months while we were building our home, and even before we got into our house, kind of already started feeling like home, and like it was a place that, kind of almost forgot what it was like to live in Palm Desert. We still have a house in Palm Desert. We love it there, and a lot of family there. It's a great place to be. But this place has really been welcoming with the people, and especially once we got into our home in July, it's been great. Very happy here.
I'm glad. How's your family?
Doing great. My wife is she's a registered nurse, but she's actually taken a couple years off from work to take care of the baby and be around the house and stuff, and really proud of not proud but thankful for her to kind of put her career on a hold for our family and to make this move. So she's doing great. Baby's doing great. Jaden's adjusted great and making friends and had a great freshman season. So life is good.
Good. I heard there's a pretty interesting story about Penelope and how she was born.
Princess Penelope.
Princess Penelope, wow.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that with me?
Yeah. I think she's the most popular baby in Alabama right now because of all the stories she got. But all the families were so supportive that day and helping out Jeanette because she was in labor in the morning and then decided to go back to the house because they weren't too close to contractions. And then basically when we got to the game, all the parents were helping her and watching over,
Yeah.
And when I got the call that we got to go, so we jammed there, and you guys know the whole story from everything, but Rick Carl is kind of really made everybody well known of what happened, and it was pretty neat. And he came to our house and did a story, and it was fun for the family, and she's healthy and beautiful, so couldn't be more happier with her.
That's good. So what interests you in moving from California to Birmingham?
Football. The last 2 years ago, I turned down a 7A job in Arkansas as a head coach, and last year I turned down a 6A job in Georgia as a head coach. So this part of the country's kind of been pulling us a little bit. And when a job in this region opened up, it was grabbed my eye a little bit. And I'm also always looking for a challenge. So, when I went to Palm Desert, it was a complete rebuild, similar to Oak Mountain. And, that first year was quite rough, but we changed it around quickly and won 6 straight district championships. So it was, it's a process and it was a challenge. So I was ready for another challenge in my life and career. And also, once we came out here for a week in December, we spent a whole week here and exploring the area and talking to people, and it seemed like a great place to have a family. So it was, on a personal level, it met our needs as well. So we made the move.
Good. We're glad you're here. So what inspired you to start coaching?
Oh, I went through, I was telling you before, a whole career path of changes. When I graduated college when I was 21 in Iowa, moved back to California. I was working at a law firm and got into Laverne Law School. So I wanted to be an attorney since I was like 10 years old.
That's crazy.
And then after working at the law firm and also being 21, and I lived in Huntington Beach at the time, I was like, you know what? I don't want to go back to school anymore. So I thought about being a police officer. And then I was like, it's not for me either. So I actually went back to my homecoming at Upper Iowa. I was really close to my head coach, Coach Shea. And he said, Coach, I'm tired of writing you letters of recommendation. You got to figure out what you want to do. And he said, have you ever thought about coaching? Because, I was just kind of like a coach on the field when I was a player and a captain when I was there at Upper Iowa. And he said, you definitely should think about it. And so next thing, I started talking to him continuously as I went back home and ended up being a graduate assistant at a small college in Illinois and then coaching there and just loved it. So I got my master's in teaching and plan was to stay in college coaching, but path led me otherwise to New Mexico, and then back to California to Palm Desert as a high school coach. And that's just kind of one thing led to the next, and now I couldn't be happier with my career choice. It's what I was meant to do.
Yeah. How does coaching here compare to coaching at your old school?
Very similar. Year one, Palm Desert was a very similar program. Took over. It was a rebuild and a very young team, which is pretty much identical to Oak Mountain. And a lot of things that we've dealt with and things that we're trying and working on changing culture-wise is very similar to that first year at Palm Desert. And it was a struggle year one, but you just have to trust in doing what you know is right and sticking to the process, and eventually things start to turn, and as kids buy in, you start seeing the changes and things happen. So I mean, we talked a little bit. That first year was just a struggle, and but we came together our last 2 weeks and had a lot of positive things to take from that struggling season. We turned a lot of starters, and year two went 10-2. Won 6 straight championships. So it's a process and it's a grind that first year, but it's very similar. The parents were similar that first year. The only thing that's different that we're ahead of the game here is that first year there, I didn't get to hire my coaching staff until year two. I've hired most of the coaches here going into year one, so it's going to be a much, I think, quicker transition into making progress. So happy with where we are.
That's good. What's the backstory behind 1 unit all in?
1 unit all in. There's a long story about it, about getting in the barrel, and it's kind of that's too long of a story to tell. Basically, long and short of it is, football is a team sport. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes desire. It takes effort. And if you're not fully committed, if you're not all in, you're not going to have the desire, the effort, or the sacrifice to be successful. And as a team sport, if you're not doing it selflessly for your other guys and your other people on the team, to be 1 unit, and you're just doing it for yourself, then it's not going to be good either, because if 10 guys are doing one thing and one's doing the other, you're still not going to be successful. So 1 unit has to do with being selfless, and all in has to do with your desire, your effort, and your sacrifice to be completely committed to the team. So that kind of formed into 1 unit all in. I started doing that year 2 at Palm Desert. Kids really bought into it, and I think everybody in the community's bought into it here. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yes. Are you planning on using that like each year?
That's our motto.
Okay.
Right? If we're here for 5 years or 30 years, it'll be 1 unit all in. Absolutely.
That's great. So what are you planning on doing differently next season compared to this season to improve our football team?
Expectations will just continue to get higher and higher, but everything we're doing right now is what's going to create success in the future. It just, when we didn't get here till April, we didn't get all our coaches here till the summer. We have a very young football team. There'll be 18 starters returning next year, which is a lot. And when they had 2 months to learn a system for offense and defense that all the other schools in the region have had multiple years to learn theirs, right? So just another year in the system. Our off-season program, all you guys have probably heard from me, is weight room, right? So we've started kind of what our off-season is going to look like, 3 days a week during the season, the last 2 weeks, getting ready to transition into the second week in November for our off-season program. So just our guys will look physically different next year. They'll be mentally more capable and understanding, and also gaining, when you understand the game more, you're going to have more confidence, so they'll play with more confidence on the field. So it's just about sticking true to what we do, and expectations of max effort, desire for your sport, sacrifice for your team, and continuing to preach the same stuff until eventually it kicks in. And once it kicks in, then I expect us to be a 60-point better team next year. At Palm Desert, year 1 we lost to a team 55-0. That team returned more starters than we returned. In year 2, we beat them 24-21.
Wow.
So that's the type of change that can happen in 1 year with a young team that understands, plays with more confidence, learns their system more, and is committed to that off-season weight room for a whole 12 months. So I'm excited for our season next year.
Too.
But most importantly, we got to finish these 2 weeks strong.
Yes, sir. So what's been your favorite experience at Oak Mountain so far?
I love Fridays. Fridays are fun. The band's cranking. I love the SC Victory song as our fight song, so that was meant to be. The fans have been great. The student section's great. Makes the experience fun, but most importantly, outside of football, has just been the people. I think that's why before we got into our home, it felt like home already, because just the people have been great. They've been welcoming. They've been so supportive of my family and Princess Penelope, that it's, it's the people is what makes a place. You can have great facilities, no facilities, whatever it is, but if the people are miserable around you, it won't be a nice place. So the coaching staff we brought in are great people. The administration's great people. The families and community have been great. So I think the people have been my best experience.
Yeah, we have a really good community at Oak Mountain, so I'm glad you feel welcome.
Thank you.
So that's all the questions I have for you today. Please be sure to follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at OakMTN Media, and be sure to check out our website at oakmtnmedia.com. Thanks for watching.